Всем привет, дорогие друзья, это я, мистер Виктор, and...
Miss Nazima. Miss Nazima. Very good
No, we're gonna
Very good
we're gonna cut, we're gonna
podcast.
cut. And of course,
Hey, it's Mr. Ahmed.
оба язык, да, на английском и на русском, но вы знаете, мой русский шоу очень плохой, поэтому я надеюсь, это возможно понимать меня. Хорошо? Мату Мугалим.
Урматтуу мугалимдер.
Дорогие соотечественники,
Умарту Мугалимдар. Кандайсис.
Абдан сон.
Жакшы, шүгүр.
Жашо татал.
Жашоо жыргал.
And guys, today we're gonna be talking here about education. Обучение или образование. Но, but before, let's know a little bit more about them. Okay? Поэтому, ребята, как перед, да, или до этого, давайте больше знать об они, об им,
О них.
о них. Об о них, извиняюсь.
О них.
О них. Например, у вас есть хобби? Если да, какие? Какой, пожалуйста?
Ну, хобби, наверное, спортом заниматься. Возможно, каким-то... У меня отличается каждый раз хобби. То есть интересы разные. Раньше, например, йогой занималась, преподавала. Потом бегом занималась.
Бегом?
Да. На марафоны
Серьезно?
ездила, участвовала.
О, молодец.
Ну, там 5 километров.
Ну.
Не так уж много. А сейчас другие спортивные
Хорошо.
занятия.
Мистер Ахмед.
Yeah, in my free time,
Mhm.
I like to play football.
Мгм.
So in winter, I go skiing. I'm not a professional skier, but I guess I'm a medium
Мгм.
skier. Then I like traveling. I like hiking, trekking. I like listening to different types of music, genres of music, and work.
Why this part is important? Because usually we see the teachers just here at school, but also it's interesting to know that there is a life behind and what they do, what they like, to spend their time on. Also, they said about traveling. I would like to know if you can share a little bit what kind of places did you visit before. И сейчас я стараюсь на русском. Что я сказал? Я сказал, потому что иногда мы просто как смотрим, мы
Смотрим.
и смотрим, только, например, как учителя в школе, но они есть в жизни не внутри, как outside,
Ага, за пределы школы.
в школе. Хорошо? И сейчас они сказали, они нравятся, например, путешествия все. И я спросил, по каким местам они были до этого. Понял?
Понятно.
Хорошо.
Да.
Пожалуйста.
Go ahead. Ну, я была в Америке, в Англии, в Чехии, в Турции. В принципе, все.
И вопрос, это были все как турист или были работать, например, обучение?
Ну, в Америке однажды по учебе, по обмену, потом второй раз по профессиональному образованию, третий раз как студент, по work and travel работала и путешествовала. В Англии тоже по обмену, в Чехии тоже по учебе, конференция была.
И что вы сделали там, как работать?
Ну, обучалась, как вообще работать в команде, например, как быть коммуникабельной. Либо, если ты работаешь, то как надо работать с клиентами.
Интересно. И сейчас США, Америка, да? Англия, и Англия тоже, как турист или как обучение?
Обучение, да. Я училась в английской школе с 10 классами. Ну, в 10 классе, да.
Классно, хорошо. Мистер Ахмед.
So I've been to several countries. In the same way to the United States, to Germany, to Czechia, as they say now, to Austria, then Kazakhstan, it's very close, Russia. From Southeast Asia, I've been to Malaysia, to Turkey as well, of course. To most of these countries, I went with students for different purposes, just trips or education purposes. That's it.
Great. И это интересно. It's interesting because as you have been to several countries, probably you had some kind of cultural shocks or things that made you think about it, like how it is so different in that country from your country. So can you share something that was so different in another country compared to your country?
Mhm. I can say maybe the how people behave can be a little bit different in other countries, or I can also say the food.
Food.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I realize that food in our country is very tasty, delicious.
Mhm.
It's very edible, and in to many countries where I've been to, I really had like issues with food.
Mhm.
Why? Because in our country, you know, it's there's meat, right? The meat is tasty, but it's hard to find such a tasty meat in other countries,
Mhm.
especially in Malaysia. They usually eat chicken,
Mhm.
and the chicken, the way they make is a little bit different. So they add sugar to
Sugar.
chicken, yeah, to food. That's it. I mean, that's
Food. Okay.
Yeah, the same as how people behave,
Mhm.
how they communicate with you. For example, I learned a lot from United States that you can speak and communicate in a higher level
Mhm.
without any emotional
Mhm.
background. And so in Czech Republic, I met a lot of international students. So there I learned how to work in a community where they have different religious backgrounds and languages, nevertheless of their accent.
yeah. Actually, I don't mean it in terms of hospitality. Of course, in terms of hospitality, our country is the best, right? Like welcoming the guests, etc. But when it comes to how people behave like in the street is very different, especially in the Western countries. You see how people can be very polite. Even if they hit you, they can. Even if you hit them, they can say "excuse me" or "sorry."
They can stay
Like
positive.
yeah, and like the way they treat you is very kind,
Mhm.
right? Or the way they behave is very different in terms of being like clean. For example, they don't spit on the street, right?
Mhm.
You don't see litter in the streets. I mean, the developing countries. Yeah,
But that doesn't mean better or worse. It's just
Just
different.
different.
yeah, just it's different.
Just different. And as I said in the beginning, this podcast is like the focus is on education, and as both of you have like good backgrounds and examples of different countries, I'd like to ask you, in your opinion, what is a good and efficient education?
Well, it depends on the ages of development of education, right?
Mhm.
If before it was how to write good and to read, now it's about skills more. How can you use this education, your given knowledge, to use something for the better, right? So outside of the school, how can you use it efficiently? And now we have to concentrate as a school, as a for example, as a school managers, right? How can these students can really use it apart from the school, not only come here and do their work as a task, as a lesson,
Get good marks.
or they can use these skills outside of the school.
Great.
That's, I think, efficient for us.
Yeah, honestly speaking, the role of school is very very important in like students' life. Why? Because school needs to prepare them for life, not just filling in them with information, but also they need to get interpersonal skills here, leadership skills here, problem solving skills here. Also, we need to teach them how to behave in when there's a problem, risk-taking skills even, right? Entrepreneurship skills. There are a lot of things like going on here. Also, the world population is becoming more and more every day, and it's becoming very competitive environment. So if you want to be the best, you really need to work hard for that. If you want to be the best scientist, the best even sportsman, the best academic, you really need to work hard. Why? Because the world is becoming day by day one country. That's why you have a lot of opponents out there. We shouldn't think just as a Kyrgyzstan, but also the world. Why? Because that the demand is increasing every day for for skilled people, right? That's why school is not the place where you just learn math, English, Russian, etc. So it's a place where you really need to improve yourself in all aspects. And the role of school here is very important. Why? We need to provide that environment. We need to provide that facility. We need to provide them with necessary equipment, like for example, the best teachers, the very enthusiastic teachers as well, because unfortunately nowadays people, like students, spend most of their time at schools. And at Kelечek MIT, we really want our students to be multi-skilled people in the future. Nowadays, the IT and this digital literacy is becoming more and more important. So we don't only want to educate here like programmers or software engineers. We also want to have like students in different jobs to be very skilled in IT. Okay.
And also, it's interesting because both of you, you said a lot about skills. And this question was not here in the script, but I'm gonna add right now. Let's suppose one student comes to you and asks, I'm gonna put my energy on this skill. Which skill would you tell this student to put his or her energy?
So first of all, we shouldn't forget about fundamental things. Fundamental things are fundamental subjects, right? Every subject leads you to certain things, right? We shouldn't forget that. First of all, you really need to have your basic fundamental subjects. For example, history, geography, they really prepare us to have like cultural knowledge about the world. Math teaches us, so we shouldn't look at subjects just like subjects. We need to understand that all these subjects somehow prepare us for the future, right? That's why, it's like two different wings of a person. One is the academic side. It's math, English, for example. Without English nowadays you can't survive in the world, actually, if you want to go international, right? Or without 4C skills you can't survive as a good manager. That's why you can't do without one of them. So you really need to have both of them. I don't mean to be like nerds, but you need to have some idea of what's going on in the world. And all these subjects somehow bring us there.
Great.
Ну, я бы, например, посоветовала бы научиться критическому мышлению, работать в команде. Вот самое главное, да? То есть, когда ты знаешь, что ты умеешь работать в команде, ты многого добьешься. Ты гибкости учишься, ты учишься, как договариваться с людьми, как свои функции выполнять вовремя и так далее. Критическое мышление очень самый главный такой навык, где ты строишь этот навык на базе своего знания, да, например, ты знаешь, как выйти из ситуации, из критической ситуации, где у тебя очень много проблем, ну, или там challenges, да, или камни преткновений, и ты решаешь, пойдет так, Б, не пойдет так, С, то есть у тебя должен быть много вариантов решений, и ты должен самому эффективному прийти так, чтобы и тебе было хорошо, и остальным было хорошо.
Great. And also, it's something very interesting what both of them they said. First, like what Mr. Ahmed said about English, it's something like, essential For example, without English, this here would not be happening. Why? My mother language is Portuguese. Portuguese. Your mother language?
Kyrgyz.
Kyrgyz. You know, it's so far from each other. Without English would be impossible. So, if you are planning, dreaming, you know, to live abroad, like to have an experience in another country, you must learn English and improve your English. And also what Miss Nazima said, I really like it about the team working and critical thinking, right? Critical thinking. Because, you know, no matter your profession, you're gonna be dealing with people. I'm gonna be, I don't know, IT programmist. Okay, it's not a problem, but someone will require you to do a kind of program. In one way or another, you will be focusing on people. So the team working, like the teamwork parts, like the critical thinking, the dealing with people and behavior is something essential. And I do believe it's like one of the most important skills someone can improve and work on. And now, you said basically, but there's another question here I would like to ask you about the challenges. You know, the world changes so fast. Technology, social media, a lot of things, TikTok. And right now, as educators, what kind of big challenges can you see right now in the education sphere?
There are a lot of challenges.
Concentration, social media. Like, for example, there's a very simple thing I would like to add. For example, I was thinking about this about myself, that sometimes I'm feeling that we are losing. I'm not so old, but I'm not so young anymore. But I can feel that we are losing this like skill of writing.
Right.
You know, like the students, they're typing more
Right.
than writing. And I was reading one article about how important and of course the bad consequences of losing so early this kind of skill of writing, you know. So going back to challenges, what kind of challenges can you see right now?
I've lost my calligraphy back in 11th grade already because first year of the university I was just typing, 4 years typing and then working typing, and now I cannot write. My calligraphy is so bad and I'm ashamed. I'm going back.
But it's nice because like you are
But
like
I'm a fast typer, so
молодец.
I'm proud of myself in fast typing.
Okay. Oh, but it's good because
not
like
in good writing. Plus, maybe it's genetically. My whole family are doctors. You know how doctors write. Right?
in Kyrgyzstan it's the same. In Brazil we cannot understand their handwriting. It's the same here.
Just recently, Google team are doing a program where they can screen handwriters of doctors. Now they're developing this application.
Oh, really?
That's a nice
worldwide.
development, actually.
And translate.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually, the challenge we see nowadays is it's time, right? I mean, the progress itself, it's going very fast, and staying on trend is not that easy these days. Especially the young generation, their understanding of the world is can be quite different from ours, right? The way we interact can be different. And then the other thing is finding the right people who can take this idea and take them to students is a little bit challenged these days. Why? Because we have a certain type of philosophy or approach to education, and it's good that we have this team already at Keleček MIT, but building that team is a little bit a big challenge. Why? Because finding the right people with the necessary skills is a little bit changing these days. Okay, because as teachers, as educators, we need to be forward, like in front of the generation, so that we could lead them, right? That's why having all those like abilities to build, it can be a little bit challenge. Right.
And also, there's something here I'd like to ask you, because you know, the technology is something good, but at the same time, sometimes it brings, you know, some bad consequences. But right now you can see something interesting that is happening here. That is this podcast. And right now I would like to ask both of you, like, how this idea was created, how it started.
Which one? This podcast?
Yes, for example, how this idea here was created, how it started. Maybe
You came to Kyrgyzstan with the
no,
return.
no, because like I remember it was a discussion
When a
here
Brazilian guy came to Kyrgyzstan.
how this idea started and why, and what kind of benefits for our students and also for our Kyrgyz community this kind of project will bring.
Yeah, honestly speaking, Mr. Victor, when we established this MIT, I mean Kelечek MIT school, this was one of our plans. Why? Actually, we were looking for a person who could do this. So we are coming back to the previous challenge, finding the right person. And why is this important? First of all, public speech skills, okay? Public speech skills. And maybe if I'm talking to you here now, maybe it's only 4 people, but through social media, we can reach thousands of people. We can take our message to different, diverse types of people, right? That's one of the things. And the other thing is, these days, everyone has become a video blogger somehow. Everyone is using TikTok, Instagram, and everyone is posting something. Everyone has a message to tell the world. And that's why not improve our students' public speaking skills, right? So it doesn't only improve their public speech, it also improves their English speaking skills, Russian speaking skills. And now we see that there's a very good improvement going, right? So school needs to be a place where they don't only learn math, physics, Russian, and science, but also where they can produce something. So this is production. You speak here, it's very nice.
Great.
То есть мы здесь в студии раскрепощаем детей. Они раскрепощаются перед экраном, перед людьми. То есть это also teamwork тоже, да, командная работа. Они знают, что такое production, они знают, что такое вот кто-то оператор сидит там, кто-то записывает, кто такой вообще спикер, да. То есть они должны уже на практике учиться, как себя вести перед камерой, каким тоном даже разговаривать, да, как надо вести себя и так далее.
Great. And it's something interesting what both of you said, about the skills of communication, of speaking, and also about, self-confidence. Something important. Because, back in Brazil, I think I told this before, I was a seller. And, to be a seller, you need to make the people think the way you would like them to think. And also...
Convince.
Yes, you need to convince them. You need to, persuasion. I don't know how it's persuasion in Russian, but you need to persuade them to get it. And also about the production, something interesting, because, sometimes when you are not recording here, some students, they come here. You come here, So they come here and they start to ask, but how do I see myself here if the camera is there and there's no cable connected here? And then I explain them, look, there is one app named Irion where you download there, you download here. If they are both connected to the same internet, that camera will become this camera here. So you can use it. And also, yes, and also they know about the microphone and all the things. But Mr. Victor, how it's all connected here? Because there's one app, one software where you can join all the data together, all the inputs together. So it's something good. And also, I think it's something to make them go from not just the theory, but to the practice. Because, right now, a lot of people are making tons and tons of money on internet, as you said, sharing a message. And of course, if this message is good, useful, why not share? And why not make some profits from it? So you, my friend, a student, if you have a good idea, if you have something that it's useful and also that the people need, you should share it. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able just to help them, but also you're going to be able to make some profits from it. Okay? And now, there is another question here I'd like to ask you. For example, we are talking a lot about students. Do you have some advice for teachers? because maybe some teachers, they are facing some problems. Sometimes they are dismotivated, or I don't know, maybe not so happy with the profession, with the challenges and problems. Would you like to say something for teachers?
Just like students, if they have some problems, they reach, we discuss, and then we try to find solutions. We turn on our critical thinking and solve. Nothing is impossible. Everything is solvable. Just stay positive.
Stay positive. Okay.
The same with parents. Hey, parents, hi. Тоже с родителями. То есть приходят, надо озвучивать вовремя, надо к какому-то знаменателю приходить каждый раз, да, ничего такого, чтобы нерешаемого нет в этой жизни. Все надо добиваться через коммуникативность и через уважение друг к другу.
И я не знаю, если я могу на русском, но есть приложение на английском. Это так. Если до конца все будет хорошо. Если еще не хорошо, это не до конца. It's possible to understand.
Yeah, I
Something
get
like
that.
this. I'm sorry for my Russian, but like it says like this. In the end, everything's gonna be okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end. So don't worry. Everything's gonna be okay. And Mr. Ahmed, you for teachers.
In my opinion, teachers have a tremendous role in child's like development these days, right? And what I want to advise my colleagues is not losing any time the hope, the positivity, the enthusiasm, of course, because students become what we expect them to become. Okay, for sure, it's a hard job. Yeah, it requires a lot of patience, a lot of hard work, but the result we get from that is very important. Why? Because we invest on people. We invest on their future. We invest on how they become strong people. Okay, who can manage their lives themselves. That's why I guess having this role as a person in this profession is very important. We shouldn't forget that the generation is changing, so we need to somehow adapt ourselves, adapt our way about the way we teach, adapt the way we communicate with students, and also setting goals for them. Okay, because teaching 10 years ago is very different from now. Or nowadays the requirement or the demand for teachers is very different. That's why like regular improvement of our profession or professional development is very vital nowadays. Okay, we can't stay every day at the same place. We need to improve, we need to go on. That's the advice.
Great.
Yeah, I would add in Kyrgyz, болор бала 15-інде болады. Never stop hoping for a child, right? At some point, this student can, sparkle. So we shouldn't, as a teachers, stop hoping for that child. Every day we have to work on that possibility that one day this student can sparkle.
Yeah, I had a student when I was working in Sultan's class, right? We had a student, and for 5 years, of course, he was like aggressive. He used to fight with others, but somehow I never lost my hope for the student. Every year I said, maybe next year, and after that he graduated from the school. And now now I feel myself happy. Why? Because I wasn't a reason for his leaving from the school. Now I can easily say that the student finished, now he's working, he can stand on his feet, right? So that's what we do as teachers.
Great. So we cannot lose the hope. We cannot. And also, I'm not gonna share here right now how I was as a student, because I was a complicated student and also a complicated kid, complicated son. Sorry, mom. Sorry, father. But now I think I'm getting better.
Now you're sparkling.
I hope so.
So you see, as teachers, we help you.
We still hope.
Yeah. And we're gonna be like finished here, but of course we're gonna bring them other times. But now the final words to finish here, Miss Nazima, Mr. Ahmed, like the final words you can speak in English and Russian as it's comfortable.
Very good
No, we're gonna have
Very good
we're gonna cut. We're
podcast.
gonna cut.
Very good podcast, Mr. Victor. Very good questions. I
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Great. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me finish my words in Kyrgyz.
Mhm.
Өзүңүздөр билгендей, бул биздин мектепте гана бар. Мистер Виктор менен биздин life skills, жашоо жөндөмдөрү деген сабак бар. Бул сабак биз үчүн абдан маанилүү. Себебинде бул сабакта балдар өз ара мамилени, командада иштегенди, ой жүгүртүүнү, дүйнөнү тааныганды үйрөнүшөт. Ошондуктан бул жерден Виктор Мафра мырзага чоң ыраазычылык, чоң рахмат айтабыз. Себеби дегенде биздин мектептеги бул эң негизги максаттардын бирин азыр ишке ашырып жатат. Сизге албан ийгиликтер. We wish you great success, a lot of achievements, and I hope you will not lose this speed and like momentum in achieving this project. I can say it's a very important project for us as a school, and we've been dreaming about it so far, like for a long time. I can say thank you, Ms. Nazima, for having a very strong team, for letting us have a strong team. Thank you, Sultan, for supporting us in it from the technical support.
Great.
Чоң рахмат.
Hashtag емес.
Алға, мистер. Алға, Виктор Мырза.
Что мырза?
Mr.
Miss one more time. See you soon. Пока-пока. До свидания.
Adios.
Көрüşкенше. Okay, so